Hey, all you powerful beings. Welcome to Quantum Shift. I am Ryan Willoughby, and I welcome you to my YouTube channel. Quantum Shift. Quantum means minute shift. A minute shift to change your awareness, your consciousness, to move you into a new reality, a new dimension. I am a spiritual guide. I am a mystic. I am an energy healer. I am here to help anyone who is interested in raising their level of consciousness, removing any energy blocks and things that are keeping them at lower levels of frequency, that are preventing them from moving into higher levels of consciousness and into their own sovereign power, their own sovereign being. I am being called to show up in a much bigger way than I ever have before. I've been doing this line of work for over 10 years now, working with individuals, working with them to help raise their level of consciousness, to remove energy blocks, limiting beliefs, assumptions, just their own energy imprints, belief systems that are keeping them stuck into lower levels of consciousness. To be honest with you, that work is kind of an old paradigm. It's part of the old third dimension programming, the old third dimension. As you know, and if you're finding this channel and you're finding me, you are being called to move, to allow yourself to move into higher levels of consciousness, into higher levels of frequency, of energy, of moving your own sovereign being, your energy being, into higher levels of consciousness, therefore affecting the collective and helping us move as a collective into a new earth, into the fifth dimension and above. This is the most exciting time to be alive in all of the linear timeline of Earth, of humanity on Earth. We are the main attraction for all beings and all dimensions to be able to witness what is happening for us, Earthlings, humans, shifting in physical form and moving with the Earth and moving into our higher resonance and dimension. Super exciting and an unknown. It is a creation within the timeline. It is a new timeline. Even though all timelines have been written, this is the first time that humans are moving into that timeline in a physical presence of moving into the fifth dimension and creating a new Earth. A little bit about myself. Why am I here? Why am I doing this channel? Why would you be interested to click on this channel, to like it, to subscribe it, and to share it, and to come back and to see more videos? I am a spiritual being. You know, we hear a lot about light workers, star seeds, and, those that are coming in at this time. And to be honest with you, I was born in 1973. I was born in the Midwest. I'm of farm people and of Christian faith, and not strong, hardcore Christian belief systems within my family. But there was imprinting there. A lot of the fear of God was put into me as a young child. But beyond that, I've always known that there is something more to life than what was being presented. And I really rejected any belief systems that were being put in on me. I rejected school. I did not really take on the programming and the imprinting. I didn't hold the content. I didn't hold the information. I wasn't the best student. It was hard to get me to go and to show up. But when I did show up, I showed up for all my finals, my exams. If I did go to class, I would go and I'd do all my homework in class and do all my catch-up sessions and extra credit. And so I've just kind of always found my own way. You might say it's stubborn. I think that has kind of a catabolic connotation to it. And maybe that's okay because there's no right or wrong, right? But that did lead me into my corporate life. That, again, I found myself doing things my own way and really not listening to the dogma. I didn't go on to secondary school or university straight out of high school. It just wasn't my path. Now, I did get into the corporate life and started working myself through corporate. And I did go back to university later in life when I was 28 years old. But I was a full-time student. I was working full-time at corporate. And I was also part-time bartending at a big gay club in Des Moines. And it was another way of doing things my own way. And it was a way of following my intuition. And because of that, I didn't have any student debt. I had 100% of my tuition paid for through my corporate life. And it did allow me to receive new roles and positions and much higher levels of income and just a belief system in myself in that corporate life. And I did that life up until about 10 years ago in my late 30s. And I chose to walk away from that. And I sold everything I owned. What I didn't sell, I gave away. And I sold my home. I sold everything. And I moved to Bali, Indonesia about 10 years ago and started my coaching business in energy and consciousness and working with people to help raise their levels of consciousness. And it was my coaching business. And I've been growing and doing that ever since. I've had many different awakenings through my life. I like to kind of say that, I was raised in a beautiful, loving family. Every single individual in my family is a human that's just trying to understand what life is all about, right? So understanding that without putting expectations upon them, but everyone was doing their best to exist and to survive. And because of that, I'm a very adventurous person. So I'm always expanding and was looking for other experiences. And because of this, I kind of say I was raised by a village. I had several different families that were a part of my upbringing. And I was able to receive so many different lines of thought and to be able to watch adults reacting and participating in life in the best way that they knew how. And to be honest with you, out of all the I learned more of what not to be than how to be with most of the examples of the adults. And I think it's always been that way. I think it's definitely that way now. It is the youth that is bringing in the knowledge and the wisdom now more than ever. Every generation is coming in more light as a higher energetic frequency and being. That being said, I was so diligent in kind of owning who I am that I didn't really let too much imprint on me. Now, limiting beliefs, worthiness, all of that, of course I have that. I'm working through that. I'm always trying to release old patterns. But what I'm sharing with you is that there was a path for me that really allowed me to dive deep into my spirituality. And I had so many different examples of spirituality and religion and belief systems that it really opened up my mind. When I was 12 years old, I was really um, introduced to Wiccan, witchcraft. And a very dear part of me and considered my family who helped raise me, and I spent a lot of time with them, was a high priestess, solo practicing Wiccan witch who received her knowledge from generation after generation after generation of generation and generation on the female side of her lineage, with a book of shadows that was passed down to every other generation on the female side. And I learned so much from this amazing woman who taught me so much about energy and life and history and spirituality and different realms and what it meant to work with energy. I also learned how not to work with energy, what not to do, by watching and being a part of this family. It really gave me an understanding of what energy is and spirituality and the power that we hold as creators. Now, we've come so far from that time and that understanding of magic and energy and Wicca and witchcraft, and myself, I have come so far. But that was a major part of opening up into a spiritual realm of really understanding of who we are. And having me open myself up onto a path even to where I am today. And I'm sharing this all with you just for you to have a kind of a better understanding of who I am and why I'm here and what I'm doing. I had a big awakening that happened in 2007 to 2008. A large awakening that occurred to me there. It was Ascension. It was health related, and it really woke me up. It was, my whole life changed from that point forward. And I really dove deep into my meditation and really into yoga, the Upanishads, and Sanskrit, mantras, meditation, Reiki, all of that. And I worked one-on-one privately with a yogi who had lived in India for 3 years at an ashram, who came back to Denver at that time is where I was living, and worked with him for a year to really just open and expand. And it was a super powerful time of my life. In 2012, another deep awakening spiritual event, and I was being called to quit my corporate job at the peak of my career. At the time, I was making amazing money, working from home, controlling my own schedule. No reason to leave this company or this role other than I was being called by Spirit. And I, at that time, knew that I was going to create a coaching, spiritual coaching business based on energy and consciousness. Went and got a certification, went to school for it. It was about a year that occurred. And then I quit my corporate job, and that's when I sold everything that I owned, and I moved to Bali, Indonesia. And from there, I started building my business and working from there. And what an amazing experience that was. I learned so much about myself, and a lot of sabotaging behaviors and things that were coming up, especially around love and things like that. And there'll be a lot of videos coming talking about love and what is love, and the dynamics of how that works within relationships and not relationships and all of that, which is super powerful. And I was in Bali for 3 years, and then I moved back to the States. And then around in 2017, I started having really energetic openings, vibrations and frequencies just moving through my body. And then recently I moved out here to California, and I am, just moved here at January of 2020. And then, we had the virus, the coronavirus hit. And there was this whole process. I started receiving messages and downloads, And I was being asked to really go inward and meditate and to really clean my vessel as a human body, as a tool that the spirit is using to move through this physical plane. And with that, I got a message to quit drinking. I got a message to quit eating meat. I got a message to go on a juice cleanse. And in September of 2020, I went through another major awakening process, and to where guardian angels and archangels came down to visit and to work with me and do a whole clearing and opening. And I started receiving channeled information from Archangel Metatron. Mind you, I didn't know who Archangel Metatron was before this. I had just started receiving images of the, I don't know if you can see this, but this is Metatron's cube, and started being drawn to sacred geometry and receiving information. And then I started going through a major physical ascension in October, November, and December of 2020. And receiving all new information about the shift that was occurring from the third dimension into the fifth dimension. Now, before this, I really hadn't heard too much about it. I was focused on my own consciousness, the collective consciousness, and what it meant to raise that just through our own personal work. This was all kind of new to me, and so it was extremely fascinating to me as well, but also something that I had to it was just changing the way I understood reality completely. And what I know is that there's so many of you out there that are going through this as well. And some of you have never done any spiritual work at all. I'd been doing spiritual work. I'd been meditating and traveling the world and being a guide and a coach for people to raise their level of consciousness and to work with them to clear out their subconscious mind and to clear limiting beliefs and imprints that have been imprinted upon them. And, for me to go through that great awakening, to receive that information and the kind of shift that occurs when that happens, I was being guided and being asked to step up in a much bigger way, to let you know that you're not alone, and to be able to share the information that is being channeled through me about what is going on with the collective, with Earth, and with the assistance that we are receiving from our galactic brothers and sisters, from our higher spirit, from our guardian angels, our archangels, and our ancestors, those that are of our family line, of our soul tribe that has passed before us. The new earth is here. The fifth dimension is here. You are the fifth dimension, as in everything is you. The awareness that we need to that we're being asked to step into is that we are all one. Unity consciousness. That what flows through you is what flows through me. And whatever choices, decisions, the free will that you use to direct your energy as a sovereign light being is yours. And it is not for me to judge, no matter what it is that you do with it, no matter what action that you do with it. For I do not know what your path and your journey is. I do not know where you are on your journey and on your path. I do not know what your soul agreements, what your soul contracts are, and what you choose to live out in this lifetime, and how that plays a much bigger part or role in the ascension process of the collective and of the earth moving into the fifth dimension. You are a sovereign being, a fractal light of God. You are the creator within your own creation. Got that from Sarah Landon, the Council of Light she channels. You are a creator within your own creation. That is the awareness. Now, as you become more aware of your own being, of your own power, that you are a creator, then you will start to be able to use your free will in a way that serves you and of the collective in the best way possible. Because we are ascending and moving from the third dimension into the fifth dimension does not mean that the third dimension goes away. The third dimension will always be there. There will be presence in the third dimension. We are multi-dimensional beings. Everything is happening all at the same time. It's only within this realm of the third dimension do we understand time to be linear. In that aspect, that makes us feel separate from Source. But see, this is the truth, is that you are not separate from Source. You are Source. That is unity consciousness. And this unity consciousness is what moves you into the fifth dimension and above. Through unity consciousness, there can be no judgment. There is nothing to forgive, because anything other than love is not real. It did not happen. It would all just an experience for you to be able to know that of what is not love. It is in the third dimension where it is we are able to experience and express ourselves of all capacities. The shadow self. The shadow allows us to know what is. For without the shadow, it just would be and be, without any reference of what it is not. It serves us to know what is. And through that of what I do not want allows me to know what I do, which then creates momentum to move forward, which is the spiral of creation, which is the evolution of consciousness, which never ends, which never dies. It is always just a moving thereof. It is how the third dimension serves us. It is how the brother who chooses to be in third dimension energy and frequency, that is of unity consciousness, that is the fractal light of God, who is acting out of fear, shame, guilt, anger, mistrust. It serves consciousness. It serves God. For it is allowing, through that of what we do not want, to know that what we do, and to create momentum and movement towards it, which is always serving a continuing evolution of consciousness. Now, what's exciting about this, it's the first time in physical form, in the physical body, and the earth is moving from a third dimension into the fifth dimension, and we are moving into that. What does that mean? Is that in the physical body, the veil, the forgetting of who we are, the true power and creators that we are all a fractal light of God, the creator. That veil is being lifted. We are knowing that what you are is what I am, love, God, and that I cannot judge you, that I only am in unconditional love, that anything other than that is not real. Fear is not real. Shame cannot exist. Sin is not real. It's only an error, that of what have never existed. The past is not real. The only thing there is a present moment. The past, whew, We'll wait on that. The past is real within the illusion of the physical world and the third dimension. But as the third dimension, all of this is just an experience that has been created with the imagination. And it is not real as well. But it's real as long as we are here, experiencing it. The veil is being lifted. And when you step into the truth of who and what you really are, that is when you are moving into the fifth dimension. So in your sovereign energy body, with the knowledge and the awareness and the consciousness of knowing that you are unity consciousness and one and the same as all, you shift into the fifth dimension. And when you do that individually, you are going to be affecting everyone and anyone in which you come into contact with. We'll be raising the collective one person at a time, where we will have a final shift of bringing the whole collective into the new earth. And that is in the process. That is where we are. And it is your free will to do this individually for yourself now. And how you do that? By going inward and connecting through your heart center chakra. Your light being has different energy centers that move through your body that are called chakras. The chakra system is receiving a complete upgrade. Your physical body is going to be receiving a complete physical upgrade. You're going to be receiving new DNA codes. Actually, it's DNA that's been lying dormant within our physical body that is going to be activated. It is going to release old stagnant energy that's been stored on a cellular level and released. The physical body will become lighter, be quicker, it'll adapt. We will be able to, there's all kinds of things that will be happening in the future as we continue to evolve with the energies and the frequencies and the high frequencies that we come into resonance with as a collective. As the collective raises, our individual gifts and powers will also come online. We will be receiving new ideas, new inventions. Technology is rapidly changing. Everything is occurring right now in this moment, this time. Okay, I'm gonna put these back on. So with that, welcome to the first video of Quantum Shift on my YouTube channel. I'm so excited to be here. I'm glad that you found your way here. I really hope that you will subscribe and listen for the updates to come. I will be bringing in channeled information that I am going to be channeling. I'll be sharing that with you, give you energy updates, giving you updates of where we are in the process of moving into the fifth dimension and above, what to expect, the dismantling of the physical structures and processes, the governments, things of that nature that will be going on in the physical world, and how we can maneuver through that as energy beings and still live in a joyful state of being while we have a lot of chaos going on around us. There's so much to share. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so glad that you have found this video. And again, I hope to see you in the future. And I will talk to you all very soon. Stay powerful. Know who you are. And remember, you are a fractal light of God, the Creator, within your own creation. I love you all. I'll talk to you all very soon. Take care. Bye.